We live in an age where masculinity is being ridiculed, distorted, and erased right before our eyes. The very virtues that built generations of strong men, family leaders, protectors of communities, warriors with unshakable values, are now treated as flaws. Today's culture wants men fragile, submissive, and shaped by the fear of displeasing others. But you need to understand this. If those virtues die in you, your dignity, your respect, and your relevance die with them. And if you don't wake up now, tomorrow you'll be just another faded man, unrecognizable compared to what you could have been. You've been conditioned to believe that everything representing masculine strength is toxic. Strength has been twisted into oppression, courage into recklessness, discipline into pointless rigidity. Society flipped the script, and you accepted the story as if it were absolute truth. Look around. Men with no conviction, no identity, no backbone. We grew up in a culture that rewards passivity and punishes boldness. They want you confused, apologizing for existing, shrinking yourself to fit into the fragile mold of a tamed man. That's not evolution. It's castration disguised as progress. The pattern you must break is simple. Stop accepting lies as if they were new truths. Virtue 1, moral strength. The first virtue under attack is moral strength. I'm not talking about muscles or physical performance, but the ability to stand on non-negotiable principles under pressure. A man without moral strength is like a house without a foundation. The first strong wind and everything collapses. Today, society encourages you to trade integrity for acceptance. Lies have become currency, and anyone who dares to remain firm in their values is labeled outdated, intolerant, or radical. But understand this: moral strength is a man's backbone. It holds up your word, your relationships, and the trust others place in you. Without it, you might be admired for a moment, but you'll never be respected. Moral strength is saying no when everyone else says yes, standing firm when others cave, choosing truth even when it costs you everything. And that price is one only real men are willing to pay. Virtue 2, courage. The second virtue is courage, not the empty bravado of loud words, but the genuine courage to take a stand. The modern world runs on fear. Fear of rejection, fear of being canceled, fear of losing the approval of the crowd. Men who should have been leaders have become hostages to the opinions of others. But courage is the act of standing tall even when you're shaking inside. It's facing the battle everyone else avoids. It's protecting your family without hesitation, even when it means being the first to step into danger. Many confuse courage with violence or recklessness, but don't be deceived. The courageous man is not the one who acts without thought, but the one who faces danger, knowing full well the odds are against him. Courage reveals who is willing to lose everything rather than lose himself. These two virtues walk side by side. Without moral strength, courage becomes arrogance. Without courage, moral strength is just empty theory. But the man who embodies both becomes unbreakable, no matter how hard the world tries to bring him down. Virtue 3, discipline. Discipline is the forgotten art of masculinity. Men of the past understood that nothing is built without sacrifice. Today, the culture of instant gratification destroys patience, focus, and consistency. You open social media and get flooded with shortcuts. Get rich quick, change your life in a week, be happy without effort. And most people believe it. The result? Weak men with no endurance, incapable of sticking to even the simplest routine. But discipline is what separates the free man from the slave. Slave to addictions, to impulses, to fleeting desires. The disciplined man, even when tired, does what needs to be done. He knows that every choice shapes his destiny. The man who masters discipline controls time, multiplies results, and becomes trustworthy. Without it, you live chasing crumbs of pleasure and never achieve anything that truly matters. Virtue. 4. Responsibility. The fourth virtue is responsibility, perhaps the most attacked by modern culture. Carrying weight is now seen as foolishness. Being a present father is mocked. Fulfilling duties is treated as a waste of life. The contemporary man has learned to run from consequences and outsource blame the government, society, family, anything but himself. But the hard truth is this: a man only grows when he carries responsibility. It's the weight of responsibility that strengthens shoulders, matures the mind, and defines character. Running from it is choosing to remain a boy, even at 40. Responsibility is looking in the mirror and saying, "The life I have is the result of the choices I made, and only I can change it." This virtue sets you free because it puts control back in your own hands. The man who embraces responsibility doesn't rely on luck. He creates paths. He doesn't wait for the future, he builds it. Discipline and responsibility form the solid ground of masculinity. The disciplined man is consistent. The responsible man is reliable. Together, they raise foundations that neither time nor outside pressures can tear down. Virtue 5. Honor. Honor is a word that sounds archaic to modern ears. Today, being clever is valued more than being honorable. We see men cheat in business, lie in relationships, betray commitments, and still be applauded as if they were models of intelligence. But the truth is simple. Without honor, there is no legacy. Honor means living in such a way that your name is respected even when you're not in the room. It's keeping your word, even when no one else remembers it. It's fulfilling what you promised, even when it costs more than you planned. The honorable man doesn't need to shout to be recognized. His reputation speaks for him. When honor is destroyed, the door is opened for mediocrity and opportunism. A man without honor may accumulate wealth and status, but he will always remain small because his name will never stand for trust. Virtue 6. Loyalty. Loyalty is also vanishing. We live in an age of disposability. Friendships abandoned at the first disagreement, marriages destroyed at the first conflict, commitments broken at the first difficulty. Modern men have learned to replace people as easily as objects, but loyalty is one of the greatest virtues a man can offer. To be loyal is to stand firm when it would be easier to walk away. It's protecting those by your side even when there's nothing to gain. It's refusing to sell your word or your principles for temporary benefits. Loyalty builds trust, and trust builds strongholds. A loyal man is rare because he doesn't shift with the wind. He becomes an anchor in the storm, and for that, he becomes a reference point. Honor and loyalty. Honor and loyalty walk side by side. Honor gives value to your word. Loyalty sustains it when trials come. A man who lives without them may survive, but he will never be remembered. And remember this: being remembered with respect is far more powerful than being noticed out of convenience. Virtue 7. Self-sufficiency. The last virtue under attack is self-sufficiency. In the past, a man was measured by his ability to provide, to stand on his own, to solve problems without depending on the system, the government, or the approval of others. Today, men are taught dependence. Dependence on validation through social media, dependence on programs that keep them comfortable, dependence on fragile relationships to feel any sense of worth. The result is a generation of men unable to stand tall on their own. Self-sufficiency is not isolation nor arrogance. It is having roots deep enough not to be blown away by the wind. It is knowing that if everything else is taken away, you still have the strength to begin again. It is about cultivating real skills, building inner solidity, and refusing to bend under external pressures. The self-sufficient man can build relationships, he can cooperate, but he does not need anyone's permission to exist or to move forward. The 7 virtues. These 7 virtues, moral strength, courage, discipline, responsibility, honor, loyalty, and self-sufficiency, form the foundation of true masculinity. Each one is a stone holding up the structure of a complete man. When one falls, the others weaken. When all are removed, what remains is nothing but a shadow of a man, fragile, manipulated, and irrelevant. Today's culture tries to sell that shadow as the new normal. But the truth is simple. Without these virtues, there is no respect, no leadership, no legacy. The destiny of men who abandon them is always the same: to live irrelevant lives, remembered only as statistics, never as examples. The call to action. The recovery of these virtues is not optional, it is vital. You don't have to change the whole world, but you must start by changing yourself. The return to virtue is not achieved through speeches, but through daily discipline. Ask yourself, where am I failing in moral strength? In what areas have I stayed silent out of cowardice? Have I been running from responsibility? Have I allowed my word to lose its value? Take an honest inventory of your life and face the truth without excuses. Then establish small, non-negotiable commitments. Wake up early, keep your word, be on time, tell the truth even when it hurts. Protect those who depend on you, guard your promises. Seek out men who live by these virtues and walk with them, because alone you are easier to defeat. The world may try to destroy masculine virtues, but no law, no ideology, and no trend can erase what you choose to live out every single day. To be a man is to carry weight, and weight is carried with action, not with words. The crucial point. We've come to the turning point. Either you reclaim these virtues or you become just another faded man in the crowd of the weak. Respect is never begged for, it's earned. Leadership is never inherited, it's built. Masculinity is never explained, it's proven. You can live bowing to the lies of a culture that wants tame, useless men. Or you can decide right now to rise and reclaim what they tried to steal from you. Every virtue abandoned is a piece of your essence lost. Every virtue restored is a step toward the greatness that was placed inside you from the beginning. The world doesn't need more domesticated men. It needs men who are strong, trustworthy, and unshakable. The choice is yours. But remember this: the man who abandons virtue dies forgotten. The man who defends it becomes eternal.